Welcome to this episode of Fabled Lands. We continue our read-through, game playthrough of this remarkable system. Now, you have given me such wonderful support and have requested that we do this live. So I have bit the bullet, as they say, and I am hoping to host a live event, a live playthrough of this with you, you have to be there, with you, on the 24th of August at 8 p.m. Pacific time. So that's 8 p.m. on that side of the coast. Now, it is not hard and fast and not fixed in stone. Below, I need you to write out if that would work for you. Ultimately, this is all about you guys. So you tell me 8 p.m. Pacific time on the 24th. That's Friday evening at 8 p.m. Is that a good time for you? If not, propose an alternative and we'll try and aggregate them and find out which works for us all. And then we will try and do a live show, and woe betide anyone. Now, I have also planned that live show will be a brand new read-through. It won't be a continuation of Carrick's story. Carrick's story is pre-recorded. We go through it. We make those decisions as we've been doing so far. So if you can't make the event, don't worry. You won't miss anything out. We won't change Carrick's story. You'll still be able to see that every week on the Saturday as it usually goes out. This will just be a very special test, if you like, of whether I can do live or not and how that works out for you, whether it is something that is entertaining or not, and we'll take it from there. So please leave your comments below. Now, another thing which I just have to brag about a little bit, and again, it's thanks to your amazing support. So share this video with all of your friends who might be interested. This name here, can you see that name? Jamie Thomson. I've been chatting to him on Facebook and on his group, the Fabled Lands. So if you haven't got to that group on Facebook, go and look for them, Fabled Lands. And he's absolutely loving these read-throughs, which is fantastic. So thank you to Jamie Thomson, of course, and Dave Morris, who wrote these in the first place, and for allowing us to read through them. And then you're going to see some pictures popping up throughout this read-through, as and when I can remember to include them. They've also sent me the pictures that make up these wonderful, wonderful books. So I'll start to include some pictures. So that might help just in terms of giving you a sense of the actual books themselves and the flavour that came with them. But without much further ado, we are now turning to page 510 so that we can continue Carrick's story. Now, Carrick last finished off, if you remember, in the village of Blessed Springs, and he had had the good fortune of managing to make some money. And after many suggestions in the comments, we've decided to return to Yellowport and to try and put an end to that rat problem. And we've got a bit of a plan. So let's see if we can get back to Yellowport and if we can enact our plan. The village of Blessed Springs, nestling at the foot of a tall hill, has grown up around the holy waters, a special spring said to have healing powers. It has been fenced off by the villagers and a priesthood appointed to supervise the supplicants who come to bathe or drink from the spring's waters. There is no market, but an alchemist has set up a shop here. Now, we want to head south. We want to go back to Yellowport. So our options basically are to head south to Venefax. Well, we did say maybe we could go via Venefax on our way home, so I think we're going to go south to Venefax. You are on the road between Blessed Springs and Venefax. Pilgrims, the sick and the injured, travel this route to the holy waters of Blessed Springs to find salvation. Roll a die. Our trusty big red die. 2. Attacked by a mad pilgrim. You must fight. Pilgrim, combat 3, defense 5, stamina 6. If you win, you get his staff. All right, well, if you want to fight, buddy. I didn't pick it. I'm not a fighter. But I will roll my 2d6 and add my combat modifier to that, which is 3. So we get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 versus his defense of 5, which is 6 damage, which immediately knocks him aside. Crazy man, stay away. I am taking your staff as compensation, because I will also take it and sell it, because that is what we do. We sell stuff. Staff. Right. So, when you're ready, you can go to Blessed Springs. No. Go to Venefax. Yes, or head north into the countryside. No. Venefax it is. 427. Right. 427. Fantastic. Venefax. You're going to see an illustration coming up now. All right. If you have the code word Atar, turn to 578 immediately. If not, read on. We don't have Atar. No. Venefax is a strange-looking village. It looks like a single gigantic building. All the houses are joined together to form a jumbled mass, and none of the houses have doors. The only way in is through holes in the rooftop. Ladders lead up to the roof, which in effect forms a network of streets that the inhabitants travel across to get to certain buildings. "We had to build it that way, for defence," says a passing farmer. "You see, the scorpion men from the south cannot climb, so they can't get inside the town." Well, that's interesting. Did I get my location? No, we are right. We're in fact scorpion men. That sounds terrifying. All right, well, visit the market. Yes, we've got stuff to sell. Absolutely. 152. 152. Thank you very much. I'm going to put this in there. 152. If you have the code word Atar, we do not. You climb down a ladder into a long, low hall, the Venefax market. A sign reads, "Closed on Thursday." Fortunately, it's not Thursday, and a stocky, barrel-chested man with piggy eyes introduces himself as Forez, the master of the market. There is not much you can buy or sell in this provincial market. Items with no purchase price listed are simply not available. So we can sell leather jerkin. Yes, we can. Yes, we can indeed. All right, so a leather jerkin we can erase from our inventory, and that gets us 45 shards. All right, so 45 shards for that. Thank you. Then we can sell that staff that we picked up and the mace, because I don't think. Do you think we're going to need a staff? I don't think so. We're going to sell the staff and caution to the wind. Sell the mace as well. Right. So that gives us, the two items together gives us 80 gold. Now I'm going to cheat because I don't like doing maths, especially not when I'm being recorded. So that gives us 80 gold. Aha! But here we can buy a rope, a lantern, climbing gear, and scorpion antidote. Now we know that we need the lantern, so that's a definite expense that I'm willing to pay. All right, so we need a lantern. A lantern. All right, so we have a lantern. Rope, 50 shards. The lantern cost us 100. 50 shards for rope? Maybe. Climbing gear, 100 shards. Now, there was some suggestions that we go to the cold, bleak mountains, or even further north to the spine of Harkoon, both of which would require climbing gear if I am to be a judge, but they also require scouting, and I'm not too keen on scouting. So, no climbing gear. Scorpion antidote for 100 shards. Let's stay focused and go and get the rat poison. So I'm not going to buy the climbing gear, I'm not going to buy the antidote, but I am going to buy a rope because it costs 50 shards. So our total net loss there is 150, which allows us to bring this down to 405. Or if I do neat maths, 485. You see, just let the maths do itself. Right. Excellent. Good. Sold. Back to 427. Oh, that begs the question, do we want to wander around here? Well, we're here. We're here. Yellowport's not going anywhere. The Rat King is still there for us to take on. So let's visit the tavern. 497. It doesn't hurt, and I'm thirsty. It's been a long walk. All right? If you want to spend 3 shards buying drinks for the locals, ask them about the Scorpion Men. Turn to 525. Yeah, let's do that. 3 shards is not that bad for drinks for everyone. I don't think. "They're vicious, evil devils," says an old peasant. "Like huge scorpions they are, save they have the head and shoulders of a man. Intelligent too, forever seeking to pillage our town, but they can't climb up the ladders." A soldier in the local militia speaks up. "They hate fire too. All we have to do is sit atop the town and pepper them with flaming arrows. They can't stand that for long. Mind you, things are getting bad. They've got a sorcerer now." A young man, blind in one eye and paralyzed down one side, says, "They've got a terrible sting as well. Their venom did this to me," pointing at his eye and side. There is not much else for you to hear, so you leave the town. Back to 427. Yellowport, Yellowport, Yellowport. But let's visit the village healer. Village healer, because they might have something good. And I've got money now. 338. You climb down the ladder into a house with herbs and plants hanging on the walls and shelves lined with pots, pans and bottles of all sorts. The healer, an old woman, can cure you of poison but is unable to cure disease, lift curses or heal wounds. It will cost you 25 shards to get cured if you are poisoned. If you pay, you can restore your ratings to normal. When you're ready, return back. You see, it didn't hurt, and now we know. Chat to the villagers on the rooftop. Got to cross the roof to go down to get to Yellowport. That's all I'm saying. A small boy runs up to you saying, "Help us! Help us! The man-eating Blood Thursday gobbler has got my little sister." His mother, a flaxen-haired beauty, comes up behind him. "Surely you mean the bloodthirsty, not Thursday?" you ask. "Oh no," replies the young mother. "The man-eating Blood Thursday gobbler is so named because it hunts only on Thursdays." The boy's name is Mikhail and his mother is Lynn. Their husband is away in the army and her young daughter Haley was taken by the beast last Thursday. Apparently several people have disappeared, never to be seen again. "Help! Please help us!" plead the villagers. Help them or refuse to help them? It would make a great story, and Yellowport is not that far away, and maybe better if we had... We're going to do it. We are good people. We are good people. And a gobbler, come on. It's a man in a sackcloth. We all know that. But perhaps let's go back to market first and buy some Scorpion Antidote. I'm not going to go through that whole chain of events. We know it costs 100. Scorpion Antidote. And that costs 100. I'm banking on the fact that we can make money from this. You wait until Thursday. Lynn tells you that the disappearances happened a little way out of town near an old farmhouse. As you leave, you notice Faraz, the master of the market, heading in the opposite direction. The market's always closed on Thursday, and he's head of the market. So do we follow Faraz, or do we head for the old farm? I think we're going to follow Faraz. Seems odd that he's leaving town at the same time that these disappearances happened. Could be nothing. Could be nothing. There's always next Thursday. A couple of weeks spent in town. Not too bad. After a while, Faraz circles around, heading across country. Make a scouting roll. Oh, it doesn't actually give me a number here. Well, my scouting roll was 10, which I don't think is too bad. Must be a misprint here. So turn to 587. I'm going to say we succeed. 587. 585. You trail Faraz to the old farm. He goes inside, and you creep to see what he is doing. Two rough-looking thugs are helping Faraz get into what is obviously a monster suit. Ha! I told you it was a sackcloth. It's a bit like a hairy toad, made of the hide of some animal, stretched over a wooden framework. So much for the dread gobbler. You wait by the door. As the thugs emerge, you club one to the ground, but you will have to fight the other one. Combat 4, Defense 6, Stamina 6. All right, avast! I shall wield my sword of justice, for you are pillaging people. So that would be a combat of 6 versus a defense of 6. I do no damage to him. He has a combat of 4. Ow! And does an attack of 9 versus my defense of 4. Weren't we going to buy healing potions? Oh, don't hate me. Don't hate me if I die. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. That puts me on 5. All right, my turn. Here we go. Yes, 10 plus combat of 3 is 13. Haha! Versus his defense of 6. That's 7, so he goes down. 2, 3, 6. You find Faraz inside, desperately trying to get out of his suit and run off. At the sight of a hardened adventurer, rather than a timid villager, he surrenders and confesses all. He terrified people with the monster disguise to keep them away from the farm. He and his men were kidnapping villagers, chaining them in the cellar below, and selling them to a slaver from Karn Baru for work in the slave mines. You find Haley and several other villagers down below in the cellar. "Don't hurt me," begs Faraz. "I'm only trying to make a few shards." "What? By selling your own people into slavery?" says one of the villagers, giving him a good kick. You lead them back to Venefax. Haley runs into her mother's arms for a tearful reunion. Lynn, the mother, gives you a suit of chainmail +1 and a sword. Well, that is fantastic. Chainmail +3. I like that. So our defense now, because it doesn't stack, so our defense is 4 + 3 goes to 7. That's a lot better. And a sword. A sword, which we're going to promptly sell for 40. So, we didn't... No. These have been in the family for generations. It's all I have to give, she says. Farouz is hauled off to the local magistrate for judgment. He will probably be sold into slavery, or saved into slavery. He will be sold into slavery. Gain the code word Atar. We've been waiting for that one, haven't we? Atar. Right. And then turn to 427. We have the code word Atar, 478. The villagers welcome you as the one who brought Farouz to justice and saved their people from slavery. There you go. So, she can't heal us, the village healer. So let's go southwest on the road to Yellowport, finally. Nearly didn't make it there. 621. The coast road between Venefax and Yellowport is well maintained, and you make good time. You pass a few army patrols, but they leave you alone. South to Yellowport, page 10. Hello, Yellowport, my beauty. We finally get back to you. All right. So, Yellowport, we've got to put a tick in the box, don't we? So we come down here. Yes. And we come to here, and we go 10. That's our second tick in the box. All right. For those of you that maybe missed, Yellowport is the second largest city in Saqqara. It is mainly a trading town and is known for its exotic goods from distant Ancon Konu. The Stinking River brings rich deposits of sulfur from the Lake of the Sea Dragon down to the town, where it is extracted and stored in the large waterfront warehouses run by the Merchants Guild. From here, the mineral is exported all over Hakuna. Unfortunately, all that sulfur has its drawbacks. The stink is abominable, and much of the city has a yellowish hue. The river is so full of sulfur that it is virtually useless as a source of food or drinking water. However, the demand for sulfur, especially from the sorcerers' guilds, is great. Politically, much has changed in the past few years. The old and corrupt king of Saqqara, Coran VII, has been deposed and executed in a military coup. General Grieve Marlock and the army now control Saqqara. The old council of Yellowport has been indefinitely dissolved, and Provost Marshal Marlows Marlock, the general's brother, appointed as military governor of the town. Now, you can buy a townhouse in Yellowport for 200 shards, which allows us to store stuff, and we do have quite a lot of things now that we're carrying, but it's 200. No, not yet. But we do want to go to the market. That's the very first thing that we want to do, because, as you so wisely recommended, when hunting rats, you need rat poison, and we've got other stuff to sell. So firstly, we're going to sell our leather jerkin. Bon voyage, you did us well. Leather jerkin of +1 plus this sword, the second sword. We don't need two swords. We're not a great fighter. So a leather jerkin of defense +1 and a sword sold together brings us a grand total of 85 shards. Great. 85 shards. I can live with that. You know exactly what I'm going to do too, don't you? 85. Oh, what am I doing? Apologies, finger trouble. 85. Right. Now, we wanted to buy rat poison for 60. For 60. That gives us rat poison. Just one dose. Should be fine. There is a I just saw the price now. The compass of scouting +1 is 500 shards, so we can't afford to buy that. There's a holy symbol of sanctity +1, which is only 200 shards. Or do we keep our money? Or do we buy a combat weapon, a sword of +1 combat? And that costs us 250 shards. I'm inclined to do that. Combat is dangerous. As we have seen, there are no healing potions listed here. None. So I'm going to buy that sword, 250 shards. Call me crazy, but I'll sell the other sword for 40. So that makes it only 210 shards. All right, and now we have a sword +1. So that makes our combat, I'm going to just go there, +1. All square. Now, is there a healer? There's temples. Oh, maybe we should try and get a resurrection deal or something in case we die. That's a good one. All right, Temple of Marker is our first point. I don't know who can do it, so I've heard about it, but I don't know who can do it. Oh, probably not this one. The Temple of Marker, the terrible goddess of disease and famine, is a large underground chamber accessible via an ornate entrance in the middle of the Plaza of the Gods, where all the temples stand in Yellowport. Down below, the walls are bare earth. The ceiling is covered in the roots of growing plants, for Marker is also the goddess of the harvest, who must be kept happy, else disease and famine will strike the people, their crops and their livestock, bringing ruin to all. So here we can ask to be cured of disease or poison. We can become an initiate. We can renounce her worship. We could seek a blessing. 481. Let's see what that is. 481. If you are an initiate, it costs only 10 shards to purchase Marker's blessing. A non-initiate must pay 20. Cross off the money and mark immunity to disease and poison in the blessings box on your adventure sheet. The blessing works by allowing you to ignore any one occasion when you would normally suffer from disease or poison. For instance, the venomous bite of a snake. When you use the blessing, cross it off your adventure sheet. You can only have one immunity to disease or poison at a time. I don't know about you, but 20 shards, and we're going to go and face rat men. I don't think they're going to have disease, but, well, you never know, and I would rather have a blessing. This is immune poison and disease. I would rather have that than not have it. I think you'll be with me on that one. Too small. If anyone has a better way of doing this, I'm using Photoshop as a tool to do this in. If anyone else has a better way of doing it, wouldn't you let me know? I think it's important to see the character sheet, but keeping it filled in is a bit tricky without the right sort of tools and things. Anyway, all right, so now we have our blessing. So now we leave the Temple of Marker. Let's try the Temple of Elnir, 316. 316. I last played these books maybe 20 years ago, so I can't remember. The Temple of Elnir is an imposing edifice of grey stone inlaid with yellow marbling. Elnir is the god of the sky and of kingship. He is the ruler of the gods. His dreams are the clouds before a storm, says a passing priest. We could become an initiate, we could renounce his worship, we could seek a blessing. 388. What do you do, Elnir the Great, the God King? All right. So, if you are an initiate, it costs 10 shards, otherwise you must pay 25 shards. Cross off the money and mark Charisma in the blessings box on your adventure sheet. The blessing works by allowing you to try again when you make a failed Charisma roll. It is good for 1 reroll. With Charisma 6, I think the money is spent better elsewhere. The Temple of Elvir and Velmir, 220. The Temple of Elvir and Velmir is built like an upside-down galleon. Elvir and Velmir are brother and sister, king and queen of the land beneath the waves, masters of the sea. Their servants and soldiers are the souls of the drowned, and when seas are rough and storm-tossed, sailors say that Elvir and Velmir are arguing again. If you have the code word anchor, nope. Otherwise, you notice a sign on the door which says, "Wanted, brave adventurer, apply to the High Priest." Let's just go chat. Let's chat. What could possibly go wrong? The High Priest tells you that the golden net of the twin gods has been stolen. I didn't do it. The repulsive ones have taken it to their palace beneath the sea in the sunken city of Ziusudra. The repulsive ones worship the fish god, Oannes, who struggles with Elvir and Velmir for control of the sea. We must have that golden net, or the repulsive ones will use it against us. If you return it to us, we will reward you, says the High Priest. The sunken city lies underneath the coastal waters off of Shadar Tor. If you take the mission, gain the code word anchor. Shadar Tor is down there. Let's take the code word anchor. So I'm going to go here. Code word anchor. Because once we're done with the rats, we can then go there. I mean, it makes sense, I think. And it's a golden net. It's got to be worth something. When you are finished, turn to 220. So just in case, let's seek a blessing, 448. Or maybe we should become an initiate. What do you think? An initiate. I quite like that idea. All right. Let's become an initiate, 294. How easily I get distracted from my original mission, but I'm a troubadour. I want to know these things. Becoming an initiate of Elvir and Velmir gives you the benefit of paying less for blessings and other services the temple can offer. It costs 40 shards to become an initiate. You cannot do this if you're already an initiate of another temple. If you choose to become an initiate, write Elvir and Velmir in the God box on your adventure sheet, and remember to cross off the 40 shards. I think it's worth it. We haven't picked a god yet. Well, I mean, sure, but, you know, there was the incident with the cultists, but that doesn't count. That was lip service, wasn't it? There, it's good to have a god to worship. And it's a brother and sister pair, and you never know, we might go sailing. It's always good. I mean, you know, if we have to choose one, this is the one to choose, in my opinion. Yes, definitely. All right, so we're done with the temple. We still haven't got our resurrection, so that might be at the Temple of Tyranny. I hope it is, or Tyranny, depending on where you're from. 526, Tyranny. 526. The Temple of Tyranny, the god of war, is built in the shape of a spear, with a long pillared nave and an altar at the far end. 2 massive stone warriors guard its gates. Tyranny is depicted here as the insensate spirit of war, a blood-drenched warrior with the head of a maddened jaguar. I do feel like this maybe should have been the one that we worshipped, although we're not a jaguar. So seek a blessing or make resurrection arrangements. That's what I liked. That's what we were looking for. So Tyranny is the one. 599. 599. Resurrection costs 200 shards if you're an initiate, or 800 shards if not. In the last word, it is the last word in insurance. Once you have arranged for resurrection, you need not fear death, as you will be magically restored to life here at the temple. To arrange resurrection, pay the fee and write Temple of Tyranny, the war-torn kingdom, 500, in the resurrection box. If you are later killed, turn to 500 in this book. You can only have one resurrection arranged at any one time, and if you arrange another resurrection later at a different temple, the original one is cancelled. So, we're going to go to an inn. We are going to go to an inn, the Gold Dust Tavern, 506, because the Gold Dust Tavern is a plush inn beside the city gates. The tavern costs 1 shard a day. Each day you spend here, you can recover 1 stamina point if injured, up to the limit of your normal unwounded score. Well, that's exactly what we're going to do. We are going to stay here. Thank you very much. We need to restore 4 wounds. So that's 4 gold to get us up and running again. Because quite frankly, we weren't doing too well there. And this will just put us back up to where we were. Right. Ratmen. 460. We can go straight to 460 to sneak down into the sewers. You climb down an old disused well in the poor quarter of Yellowport. It is dank, dark, and smelly down below. If you have a light source, read on. You follow a tunnel into the darkness, 164. The dank tunnels, running with rivulets of foul water, take you deeper into the unknown. You mark the twisting passages with chalk so that you can find your way back. Shortly, you come out into a large, rough-hewn cavern, wreathed in shadows that dance and flicker in the light you have brought. A sound makes you start in surprise. Make a scouting or a thievery roll against difficulty 11. Thievery. 10 plus 4 is 14. I made a mistake last time. I thought you had to equal the number. You have to better it. So, moving on. We have bettered it. We have got 14, so that's 2, 4, 7. The sound was the click of a secret door sliding open in the wall of the cavern. With a swift motion, you step up beside it, back to the wall. A figure emerges, but you are able to ambush the ambusher. A deft blow to the back of the head sends the dark figure crashing to the ground. Another steps forward, however, shouting in a guttural voice. You realize the figures are ratmen, man-like creatures that stand on 2 legs, but which have the tail and hairy features of a gigantic rat. You must fight the ratman. If you have some rat poison, you can apply it to your blade and add 3 to your dice rolls for this fight only. If you use the rat poison, cross it off the adventure sheet. The ratmen, combat 3, defense 6, stamina 6. I'm not going to use the rat poison because I think there's more down here. And with their combat of 3 versus my 4, my defense is better than theirs. Let's hope. So, our combat is 4. 4 plus... 10 is 14. Versus their defense of 6. Pah! Ah! Ah! We dispatch the ratmen. The ratmen lie defeated at your feet. You find 15 shards on the body and a note which says, "Party! Kitchens tonight! Rank and file rats only! No officers and no king allowed!" No king allowed. So they're all in the kitchens. The rest of the cavern is bare, so you press on down the tunnels ahead. After a while, you come to a cleaner area of the sewers, a part of the old city now buried under Yellowport. It dates back from the period when all of Harkoona was ruled by the masked ones of Utaku, before the people overthrew them. You come to 2 rotten wooden doors. Names have been scratched on them by some half-literate ratmen. One says, "Throne Room." The other says, "Kitchens." You can hear gravelly rat voices from behind both doors. Well, we know the kitchens is where there's a party for rank and file, where the throne room is for the king and the officers. Do we go into the kitchens or do we go into the throne room? Throne room. Live dangerously. 202. This may be the end of the read-through. Gingerly, you open the door. It leads to a curtained alcove through which you observe the room beyond. It is a low, long hall, clearly of ancient Utakin temple, from a time when the masked lords of Utaku ruled all of Harkoona, but now part of the sewers of Yellowport. A cheap wooden chair has been placed on the altar to act as a throne. On it sits a large and extremely ugly ratman. He has a tacky amulet around his neck and a rusty iron hoop for a crown. About 4 ratmen are kneeling before him, engaged in conversation. "But Scab," one of the ratmen is saying. "That's great king Scab to you, dung breath," bellows the rat on the throne. We could charge in to the attack, sneak in to assassinate the king, use sorcery to get close to Scab, or bluff our way in. Wow. Bluffing is our best bet. Oh dear, why didn't we buy that blessing? We went to the wrong temple first, didn't we? Oh, life choices. You step in saying, I have a message for King Scab. The ratmen stare at you in amazement. A human! Get it! Screams Scab. The 4 ratmen charge towards you with a roar, wielding swords before you can say anything more. Soon they have been joined by many others, and you have little choice but to turn and flee for your life. Desperately, you race down the sewer tunnels with an army of ratmen in hot pursuit. Lose them in the tunnels, try some magic, or hide. Hiding, I don't know. Magic, I don't know, but they know the tunnels. Let's try some magic. 296. We're desperate here. Make a magic roll at difficulty 9. Difficulty 9. We got 3, 4, 5, 9 on the magic. Now they said we had to beat that number. I hate to be a rules lawyer here. Quick rule. To succeed, you must roll higher than the difficulty of the task. We did not roll higher than the difficulty of the task. Three, 5, 2. You mutter an enchantment that is intended to give you the appearance of a ratman, but you get some of the intricate syllables wrong and take on the appearance of a particularly wealthy merchant. At the sight of you, the ratmen redouble their efforts, and you are overwhelmed by sheer numbers. The ratmen beat you into unconsciousness and then toss you down an underground sewer outlet. You are washed up on the beaches outside Yellowport, where you come to. You have 1 stamina point left. This is not good. One stamina point left. The ratmen have taken all the items and money that you were carrying. Wow. Cross them off your adventure sheet, and groggily you make your way back into the city. I cannot believe it. Everything lost. All of it gone. How in the name of Elvir and Velmir are we to overcome this setback? Our trickery, our sneaking around has all been reduced to naught. We are in a bad place. A very bad place. Back to 10. What do we do now? Yellowport has been nothing but trouble for us. We got that unspeakable cultist title. We lost all our money. Blessed Springs gave it back to us. Venefax gave us more equipment. And now it's all gone, thanks to Yellowport. Well, a pox on Yellowport, I say. We're leaving. And we're leaving now because we've got no other choice. We can't heal up. We've got none of that. We can't buy anything. We can't sell anything. We've got nothing. So perhaps it's time. Let's head northwest to Trefoil, and hopefully, We can find someone who will take pity on us, now reduced to beggars, to homeless, weaponless, moneyless people. Maybe Trefoil will be our saving grace. 233. We will continue with this adventure next week. So find us again, find me again here, same time, same channel. 233 is where we are going as we try and recover from this horrendous setback. 233. These dice are sometimes good, but they're also sometimes very cruel. What a sad note, but what an exciting note too. We now have to find our way again. And this is only book 1. We haven't even got to the rest of them yet. How are we going to survive? And 800 shards for resurrection. What's up with that? Anyway, such is the life of a wandering adventurer such as ourselves. We had it all, we lost it all. Remember, the 24th of August is when I'm proposing that we do an 8 p.m. Pacific time live stream of going through these books. We will run a separate adventure. We'll start up a separate character and go from there. Leave your comments below as to whether that's a good time or is it a bad time. I know most of you are from the Pacific coast, and that's why I tailored it for that. Anyway, let us know your thoughts and comments there too. And how did you feel about the session? Not a very high note, I must admit. We were so close, so close. That Rat King will die. I promise you that much. That's going to happen. I swear it now. I will take him down one way or another. Anyway, thanks for watching. Thanks for being part of this. Thank you for supporting the channel. We are nearly near 100,000 subscribers, which I think is phenomenal. It's absolutely amazing. And it's all because of your support. So thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyway, until next time, safe journeys in the Fabled Lands.